Hey, we are live. That was a hard out on the music. What's going on, everybody? I am Adam. This is Highly Articulated, and today we are going to talk about toys, as we always do. Not always. I shouldn't say that. Sometimes we do talk about TV. I have spoken about other things too, I guess. So yeah, but today it's toys. Almost entirely. Another busy week. I was sat here sort of thinking I was ready to go with about a minute before it was time to go live. And then I realized that I didn't have my lights, I didn't have my microphone, I didn't have my earbuds. I was not ready at all. So, it doesn't matter how many times I do this. It seems like I never seem to get the hang of it to the point where it feels effortless and easy, but it's good to be here, and it's always fun to be here. So let's talk toys, shall we? And maybe, just maybe, at the very end I may have a little reveal for Space Zombies from Mars, but today is going to be a short video because sports ball. So there you go. Brian Brink said Super Bowl pregame. This is my Super Bowl pregame as well. A little bit last minute, we decided to have some people over, so we're having people over for the Super Bowl. So I do have sort of a hard out, a hard count, if you will, for when I got to end this. So we'll be going about an hour, and that's it. That's all I got. That's all I got time for. So watch me with a hard out, like be done in like 20 minutes. I'll just fly through everything I wanted to talk about, and then I'll just wrap it up. Oh dude, this is a bummer. I just wanted to say hi, heading to Arkansas to help with my dad's funeral. That is that sucks, man. Feel for you on that one for sure. Hopefully you get to see some loved ones and kind of spend some time reflecting. I hope in life you kind of got to say your goodbyes, but yeah, bummer, but we'll be thinking of you. So hard to sort of bring the energy back up after that. That's tough, right? But we will try. Hopefully hopefully this gives you a little bit of joy, a little moment of peace, during a time of trouble. But all right, let's check out the rest of the chat. Collecting Brothers is here, presumably John. If it's ever John, I will be I'll be very pleasantly surprised. Ray Paz is here. Red 5 is here. Thanos Copter. Brick something as well, saying sending love, Larry. Yeah, absolutely. All right, shall we get into it? Let's start where we where we were last week. I talked about this guy last week, and just after that, they kind of put it up for sort of the launch. So Mattel has this sort of way of doing these where they announce something is going to be announced on a particular day, and then they sort of give you this countdown. So for the Masters of the Universe, Masterverse New Eternia Panther, we are 1 day, 18 hours, 48 minutes, and some seconds away. This is showing the Canadian price. I don't know what this thing costs in US dollars. But yeah, as I said, this thing looks amazing. I'm pretty excited to get this. If he's anything like the Masters of the Universe Battle Cat, I will be, very, very happy with it. The weird thing about this is it looks exactly like the Battle Cat. And when I sort of compared Battle Cat to this, I was like, okay, so how is this New Eternia and the other Battle Cat is not? But they're going to inhabit, for me, all the Masterverse stuff is sort of New Eternia. From the Revelation stuff to the Revolution stuff to the New Eternia stuff. To me, it's all the same. To me, it's all He-Mans. And I'm pretty excited to get this. Rafe has $62. Are they for real? That is Canadian dollars. Okay. And keep that in mind. And I will say this too. When people see prices of things in Canadian dollars, it can be a little bit shocking. I'm pre-warning everybody now. The Space Zombies from Mars Kickstarter is in Canadian dollars. So you will want to adjust the currency when you're looking at the page to get less of a shock as far as the pricing and as far as the funding goal and all that kind of stuff. Because we had to do it in Canadian dollars. So yeah. Raypaz says 43 US dollars. Even then, Battle Cat went clearance. I paid less than 20. I think I paid 12 Canadian dollars for my Battle Cat, which is I think about $8 US. So yeah, the thing is, I need this Panther, right? Like I've got Battle Cat, I've got He-Man, I've got Skeletor. I kind of need this, and it's a little bit like if this goes anything like some of the other recent Masterverse stuff and some of the New Eternia stuff, it might sell out. And I'm not necessarily willing to play clearance chicken to get it for the price that I got the other ones. So it is what it is. I think this is going to be one that I'm going to have to pull the trigger on. I don't love the price any more than you do, Ray. But that being said, I mean, that price for a mount this size feels pretty reasonable. When I think about what I've gotten for now, I'm not comparing it quality wise to things like Mythic Legions. But when I think of what I've gotten in this sort of relative size and sort of form function, it doesn't seem that bad to me personally. I'm not saying, you don't need any of this. So I'm not saying that like, oh, you got to buy this. This price is incredible. I just think for this pricing, this valuation on this seems appropriate. Let's see. Ray says, yeah, I may forget and curse you out. That's fair. That is totally fair. At the very start of the Kickstarter, I even have a little thing that says, warning, the price is listed in Canadian dollars until you change it. So, Ray, is the jaw articulated? Yes, it is. Let me see. So that's the jaw open. That's the jaw essentially closed. There he is leaping. There he is with Skeletor on. There's the basic cat. There's the armor. I like that they did it like at two layers. Because you can kind of imagine the armor going on there. I think the armor looks fantastic. It's fairly similar to what we got with Battle Cat. But as I said, it looks good. I like that it comes with that spear. I think a mount with a spear, a lance, or something like that just kind of looks kind of badass. And then you get the box art where he looks really good. He looks really good on this box art. And then yeah, I think that's pretty much all we got. It looks to have like a nice insert card as well, which is kind of cool. You know, you get like Snake Mountain in the background of the art there. And he looks, you know, I like this big purple cat. Okay, I think he looks really, really good. And I'm excited to pick this up. As I said, I'm not entirely over the moon as far as the price goes, but you know, I'm not buying a ton of Masterverse stuff, so I'm okay with it. Let's see. Gabrielle is here. Good to have you, buddy. Good to see you. Ray Pat says it looks great. I just wish the figure itself was more matte. He's so shiny. I kind of like that he's shiny. I kind of like that it's like this, you know, like otherworldly kind of look to him. I mean, if it was black and shiny, I'd be a little bit upset. Because it's purple, I'm kind of okay with it being this shiny. Battle Cat is like a lot more matte than this. Who knows whether it'll actually look exactly like this? This could be a render and he could be less shiny. The Origins Panther certainly is not shiny like this. He's, well, I have the flocked one right up there. He's certainly not shiny. But the other one's not that shiny either. So this is clearly a choice that they've made. And I'm kind of okay with it. That being said, you know, if it's terrible, you know, I can always probably matte coat it and move on. But yeah, we'll see. Gabrielle says, I didn't think they'd make a Panther since Battle Cat's gone on discount for so long, but this looks like an instant buy. I wonder too, though, if they've sort of weighed that out, and maybe this as a new Eternia Panther is something they're kind of willing to take the risk on. I wonder if the Battle Cat being on deep discount for so long and still being available is a reflection of how many units were made, and I wonder if this will be a lot shorter quantities. And that's part of the reason that I'm saying that I'm probably going to buy this, you know, when it goes up. So you know, we'll see. If it goes down to 12 Canadian dollars, I'd probably buy a second one and paint it to be something else, because I wouldn't want two shiny purple cats. But yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting for sure. But as I said, I'm not playing clearance chicken on this one. Brick said, Mattel is struggling with the new toy selling landscape. If they only sold Masterverse on their site, this price would be whatever, because we saw the same object painted green for $10 at stores. Awkward. Yeah, I think it's, I don't know. I mean, the last few the last few Origins figures have been slower to sell out. And then ironically, like some of the new Eternia Masterverse figures have sold out quicker, at least on some of the smaller sites. I know that, you know, Big Bad Toy Store still has all of them, I think, but I was looking the other day and I was looking at eCollectibles and I was like, oh, I forgot to get, you know, Merman, and I forgot to get Mechanic, and I forgot to get, there was like one other, I think. And they were sold out. So I was like, oh no, like this is awkward for me, because now I still want these, and I thought, you know, I'd be able to play clearance chicken, but maybe I won't be able to. Ray says exactly my cheapskate logic. I mean, if you don't need it at this price, then wait it out, because it might be you know, it might be that this figure gets discounted, and it might get discounted sooner rather than later. So I don't know. It's tough. I mean, I'm just, you know, I just want this, so I'm willing to pay for it. I prefer Panther to Battle Cat. You know, with Mythic Legions, I have Purplore. I really am pushing for a purple cat in Animal Warriors of the Kingdom. I like this purple and green deco, and purple and black and green. I just love it. So I'm more inclined to sort of get this than I was to get Battle Cat when Battle Cat was first out. So and Brick says, I love my Battle Cat, so it's definitely a very cool toy. Exactly. And that's kind of the thing, is that, like, you know, I got into Masterverse late, and then I ended up getting that Battle Cat. I love it, and I got it for a really good price, so I couldn't say no. But you know, now I'm sort of like, oh, it's definitely worth more than what I paid. So and Ray says, we thought that of Snout Spout, and they made another run. That's true. That's very true. Christopher Bouchard, good to have you. Is Mattel done making toys too? Yep, it's just gonna be indies from this point going forward. That's it. That's all we get is indie companies making toys. Rob Zamora, I 100% don't know if this is true or not because I do not know Master of the Universe. But Rob says, did you guys know Panther's real name is Toby the Panther? But Skeletor told him it told him just to go by Panther because it sounds more intimidating. It says true MOTU fact. So you've never lied to me, Rob. I don't know why I would doubt you. Okay, so Toby the Panther, or the Panther, I guess, for the win. Ray Pass says, I'm waiting for Masterverse Mantana. That would be pretty rad, especially if they did a new Eternia version. I'm really digging the new Eternia stuff, and I'm not a MOTU guy. I don't know who most of these characters are. I don't know what they're supposed to look like. Case in point, I just got my new Eternia Triclops, and they got 2 of these rings for the eye things. I didn't know which one was the origins, original kind of look, and what the new Eternia look was. So I just kind of went with one. But he looks good. The new Eternia figures are coming out really good right now relative to how they started, and they're still not great relative to things like Spiro Toys or even what Hasbro is doing, but they're getting better. So Brick says, sadly I wouldn't wait it out if I wanted it. They hold all the cards with direct sales. I don't know what that means, but anyways, I'm gonna get this guy. Christopher Bouchard says, I'm waiting for Masterverse Ratlore and Mosquito and just got my Spiro order. Awesome. Yeah, Ratlore, Mosquito. There's not a long list left of sort of new Eternia characters and versions that I want. I would love to see a new Eternia Mossman, because we've only gotten one, and that was sort of way back in wave 1 of Masterverse. Specifically, that's sort of what I would want. But there's a few others. I mean, all the new Eternia stuff that I've gotten, and I've gotten a good portion of it, has been pretty good. I will I will admit that I've typically gotten most of them at discounted pricing, because I don't know that they're necessarily worth $25 or whatever. But when they're like $20, I'm in. But like I said, Panther is kind of one of those things where I got the Battle Cat, I need the Panther. So Brick says Mantana Classics is one of the few that I'd concede would be hard to top, but I'd love to see him try. Ray says, I'm thinking we are about to get a new She-Ra and a Dora once the next series of the Netflix show drops. Is there a new one? I hope there is. And the She-Ra, the Masterverse She-Ra, I think is pretty good. Do I think it would be cool to do like a new Eternia version of She-Ra as well? Absolutely. And bring on more of those characters. We've got She-Ra, we've got Catra, we've got Frosta, but that they've only scratched the surface with the She-Ra stuff. So I would love to see more of that for sure. And I'm pretty sure my wife would as well. Although she would prefer to get origin style She-Ra stuff. So I hope they do more of that too. Anyways, moving on to some other Masters of the Universe stuff. This was sort of put up for pre-order yesterday or the day before, within the last couple days. I mean, within the last 2-3 days. So this is the next wave of the cartoon series. I don't know what it's called. The Masters of the Universe Origins cartoon series, I guess. I don't know. I guess these are from the cartoon. Here's where I'm kind of like, okay, why? We don't have a Origins Frosta. It would have been nice to get an Origins Frosta. The buzz off, yeah, this buzz off, it doesn't. I don't need this buzz off. I'm not. I mean, I'm not doing the cartoon series anyway. But I don't even know that I've ever seen the episode where Skeletor is invisible and wears Orko's cloak. But I need that figure. and a translucent Skeletor with and I had to look it up because I was just curious, with the helmet of invisibility. It's a little on the nose, but that's what it's called. Is fascinating to me, and I think this figure looks great. I love that there's like multiple different colors of translucent plastic on there. I think this figure looks like a ton of fun. Let's see here. And I can do this. So there he is. There's Skeletor in all his glory, with the helmet on and the Orko cloak on, and then you get the alternate. So you can take the cloak off, you can take the helmet off. And I didn't get a picture of the alternate face, but there's actually sort of like the open jawed face. So it looks like that's probably a faceplate that sort of pops on and off. But I mean, the fact that you get an opaque waist, and then you get some purple translucent, you get some blue translucent, you get some yellow translucent. There is a lot about this figure that I love. So I think I'm going to have to pick this guy up. Christopher Bouchard says, the only Masterverse figure that I have left is Too Bad, and I had to sell the others a while ago. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. That Too Bad figure is pretty rad. I thought I had it next to me, but I don't. Yeah, they're good. If I had to get rid of my collection, I think the Masters of the Universe stuff would be among the first things to go, if I'm being perfectly honest, but they're a lot of fun. JMax77 said, I'm a huge Buzz Off fan, but even I'm passing on this Buzz Off. The Origins Buzz Off is really good. It's a really fun figure. That helmet is pretty cool. The way they did the wings is quite cool. The Masterverse I think it's a New Eternia Buzz Off, is phenomenal. Like, it's a really, really great, really fun figure. This one it's just kind of boring to me, so I don't even have a slide for it, to be honest. But Thanos says, I like this wave because I only wanted one figure. Brick said, I think he looks especially rad with the Orko cloak and helmet. Yeah, he does. It just looks funny. I want to go and watch this episode. I admittedly have not seen this episode, where I don't remember having watched this episode, but I definitely want to go and watch it. Whoops. We'll get back to that guy. The Frosta looks fantastic too. I think this figure looks really, really good. I'm a bit bummed that we're getting cartoon Frosta, and we're not getting Origins Frosta. But maybe the cartoon stuff is more popular for them. Maybe they're selling more units of the cartoon stuff, and so they see that as sort of the more marketable option. So I'm sort of not faulting them. That being said, I'm kind of like, okay, well, if this is the route they're going to go with She-Ra, do I need to backtrack and get the She-Ra, get the Catra, and then get the Frosta? I don't know. We'll see. Brick says, I remember 0 He-Man Filmation episodes, vaguely at best. You know what? Part of that, at least for me, like I've been sort of rewatching a lot of them with George, because he really enjoys He-Man. Maybe that's the age that you enjoy it most at. Because it's like, it's a whole lot of cutting and pasting clips over and over and over again. And you're like, oh my goodness. Like, every time He-Man runs, it's like exactly the same clip. But sometimes they flip it. Sometimes he's running left to right, sometimes he's running right to left, but it's like, it's the same clip every time. Every time the Sky Sleds, every time they're on the Sky Sleds, the same clip every time. Like, I get so bored watching it. It is my honest opinion of the original Masters of the Universe cartoon. Now, it is fun. The adventure is there, and the sounds and the characters, and it's kind of funny and lighthearted, and it's great for a 2-year-old. He's 2.5, okay, so he's a little more mature than a 2-year-old, I guess. It's perfect for that sort of age, but I can't watch it. I just can't watch it. It's rough. Thanos says, if the She-Ra stuff sells, well, maybe they will do vintage. Maybe, hopefully, I don't know. But Thanos says, I'm cool with them being cartoon collection, though. That's fair. I'm okay with that, too. I just, for the nostalgia factor, I think I like the origin style. Although they do the hair is solid. It's not rooted hair, so I'm kind of, I prefer that. But one of these days, I'm gonna find that 40th anniversary She-Ra with the rooted hair. But Tony's Figs is here. What's going on, buddy? Brick said you should watch Flash Gordon, Star Trek, and other Filmation. It's the same running and landing clips, recycled, smart but recycled. Yeah, I know. I've seen them, and I've seen like the layered sort of like this is what they did, and they just they basically take I think they take a template and like trace it, and then that's how they did it. And that's how they did it so fast. So that's cool. I mean, it was efficient and made sense. So Brian Brink says I had about 90 minutes of vintage MOTU playing in the background yesterday. It was just kind of fun listening to the music. And that's exactly it. So if I'm, in the kitchen and George is sitting on the couch watching Masters of the Universe, it works because if I'm doing something else, I can tolerate it. I can't sit there and watch it. I will fall asleep. But it is like the sounds and the music and like it is a lot of fun. And I totally understand why it captured the hearts and imaginations of so many kids back when it was on. I totally get it, but it's not entirely for me. Speaking of things that are not entirely for me, that capture the imagination of young people and still does to this day, wrestling. Here I am talking about wrestling figures, and Ken isn't even in the chat. This might be, in my personal opinion, the best joke figure that is serious that I've ever seen. I'm highlighting the packaging because this is so clever and so funny to me, at least. The fact that they're leaning into the John Cena "you can't see me" joke that is everywhere on social media and stuff like that, and making a translucent John Cena collector's edition figure that doesn't have John Cena's picture anywhere on it is absolutely a master stroke in like marketing and playing to your audience. I love this. I will be if I can find this. I don't even know how to buy this or where to buy this. I will buy this. Again, I love translucent figures. The package. This might be one that I keep in the box, or at the very least, I will keep the box. Because it's just. I love this. I love that this is a joke, right? This is a meme. Like you can't. If you're a wrestling figure collector and you love John Cena, you're not buying this to put it in a ring next to The Rock. You're buying this because it's like a novelty item. And I'm quite frankly a little bit surprised that they're doing this as a novelty item, but I'm here for it. I love it. I think this is hilarious. The sculpt is still really, really good. I'm not going to do it now. I'm not going to waste your time. But like if you zoom in on the sculpt, everything's still sculpted in here. Like he's got a belt with the buckles and like he's got the knee pads and he's got laces and everything. Like everything about this is like a really well sculpted figure. It just happens to be translucent because you can't see him. And then you get the "you can't see me" hands too. So it's like if this comes out of the box, it's definitely getting displayed like this. And when I get it, I will definitely do an unboxing of it. But you'll be watching an unboxing of nothing. So anyways, moving on from this blank slide to ROM. Shout out to Brick. I know that you love this figure. I know nothing about ROM. I've never read a ROM comic book, a rom-com, if you will. I don't know, like, I guess there was crossovers with the X-Men. I guess it was crossovers with, like, other people, other characters. I am 100% getting this ROM Space Knight figure because it feels like a 1950s, 1960s sci-fi robot character. It feels like a Lost in Space type of thing. It feels like something that I need in my Space Zombies from Mars collection. This feels like it's gonna go perfectly with like Spike Spectre, like the sort of retro astronaut look. So I just think it looks really, really cool. I mean, a big blocky robot with chunky laser guns. There's so much about this that is like weird and odd and sort of, I don't know. There's like just something about this that makes it work. I hope the silver plastic on this isn't that weird sort of pearly plastic that they've done. But you know, either way, I think this figure looks fantastic, and it's one that I'm gonna pick up. And now I'm kind of thinking that I might try to go back and get Chris Star as well, only because I feel like those two on a shelf would look good together. But Red 5 said this will be my first WWE figure. I bought I bought one for my 9-year-old who loves wrestling. And then we never bought any more. That was like a year or two ago. And it was like a discount figure or something. I just like, yeah, I'll just pick it up. It's cheap. So now we'll have two. But yeah, I'm right there with you. And I don't need any more. That'll be my wrestling figure collection. One invisible John Cena. Christopher Bouchard says, I never heard of ROM. You're not the only one. A lot of people had never heard of ROM. And Game Quest, on the other hand, says, so dang excited for ROM, my childhood. I think, you know, it seems to me like you either knew ROM and absolutely loved ROM, or you had no idea who he was. And I feel like, you know, from the way it sounds, it feels like if you knew ROM, you loved ROM. So I don't know. It's cool. I'm glad that people are getting some of these deep cuts, or what I consider deep cuts. Game Quest says, I've pre-ordered 2 so far. Ray Pass says ROM is dope. He says the comic was so awesome from what I remember of it. Brick says Space Knights for the win. ROM's another example of Marvel taking a crap toy and elevating it with dope stories that we fell in love with. Micronauts, G.I. Joe, Sectars, Transformers, Chris, I think you mean Chris Star. All the rest, yeah. Would be awesome if they did an omnibus. You know what? Okay, here's what I think. I think there might be an omnibus sort of in the works, or there might be something coming from Marvel. I think they do get some push from Marvel as far as like, hey, can you do this or something like that? Or maybe maybe there's something that they're gonna do with them. Maybe if there's enough interest in this figure, maybe they do the omnibus. Maybe it's like, you know, I don't know. I don't know how it all works behind the scenes as far as that goes. But you know, I would not be surprised. Gabrielle says you'd probably love that Chris Star figure. I probably would. I don't buy that many Legends figures anymore. Brick says, pretty sure there is an omnibus. I wouldn't be surprised if there was. It might be one of those ones that's like harder to get now, though. I mean, I know there's a lot of stuff where it's like, yeah, they put out an omnibus, you know, 7 years ago, and during the dark times of the last few years, some of that stuff just disappeared. Like it went from sitting on shelves for 5 years to like you could not find a copy. So it could be something like that. I don't know. Micronauts, I'm looking at those Reaction Plus Micronauts. Never had any Micronauts as a kid. But again, the passion that people have for Micronauts, you know, I might have to check them out. And Brick said they made a big announcement last year that Marvel Comics got rights to republish the old comics again. So there might, yeah. So there you go. So there might be something. There might be something to it. There might be something to some of these characters and some of these figures kind of popping up seemingly out of nowhere. Game Quest says I still have a majority of the comics, the old ones. That's cool. I got rid of all my toys, but I kept all my comics. So I still got a lot of really cool comics too. They're all beat up and they're like, I read all my comics. I don't treat them as precious objects, but I got some pretty good stuff in some of those long boxes. Ray Paz says you're on it. And Brick says that deal is what I believe sparked Hasbro's ability to do the toy and Super 7 to license that more free and clear than in the past. Both were tied in copyright issues for decades. Cool. Okay, good to know. And so who knows who's next, right? Like that's the other thing is like, you know, you get Chris Star, you got ROM. I mean, they did Kazar too. Like they've done they've been moving into pretty interesting territory with Marvel Legends. I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, if they lose the license, it could go somewhere else and be better." I don't know. I think it's pretty good. Like if you want Marvel figures at a good price point, I think personally, I think Hasbro's doing a pretty good job. They have some missteps, and not every figure is a home run. But all in all, I mean, I think they're okay. Um, what's that? We'll come back to that. Let's talk about this instead. Toy Collectr Magazine, who were very, very kind and put our brand on the cover, Space Zombies from Mars. That is issue 15. But issue 16 is now printed and I think available to order if you haven't already. If you want to subscribe, I think you have if you subscribe now, you'd get issue 16 as your first issue. They have a world premiere here of a LJN Toys version redeco of a Vulture Man for the ThunderCats Super 7 Ultimates line, as well as the Sky Cutter. This thing looks clumsy and awkward, and it should not fly, but it's kind of fun. I don't personally have any of the Super 7 vehicles yet, but I may pull the trigger on this one. This looks very, very cool. This Vulture Man, I really, really like as well. I haven't done the toy versions of the figures yet, so I don't think I'll go for the Vulture Man. But the Sky Cutter is it's pretty cool, and I'm looking forward to sort of more news on Vulture Man and the Sky Cutter, as far as when they're going to be released, how we can get them, all that kind of stuff. But it looks cool. I mean, I'm kind of digging it from what I'm sort of getting, what I'm sort of guessing, because this is all we've gotten is this picture from Toy Collector's cover so far. But it looks like you can get a blast effect that goes in the front there. It looks as though there's like wheels, landing gear that pops out the side, which means, at least to me, that these wings are kind of hinged and might fold down so that they can sort of be stored, and it kind of wheels on there. You got the saw blades that presumably will spin. I think it's cool. I think this is a really cool looking, vehicle, and we'll see where the price lands. But this thing I think is pretty interesting. Let's see. Going back to Legend stuff, Raypass says, do you know the price of the new Spider-Man Maximum Series figure? I do not. Has it been announced? Or are you asking if I've heard the price or if I know the price? I don't know what it's going to be. For me personally, if it's 40, I think that's fine. That's decent. That's sort of in line with more or less what you kind of get for $40. If it's any more than that, I think it's too much. And that's also based on, I don't know much about it. I like I said, I don't buy that many Marvel Legends anymore, so I'm not 100% in the know, so to speak, on what that figure is. Is it better plastic? Is it basically a Marvel Legends figure with more accessories? Because if it is, and it's more than $40, it doesn't make sense to me. Because a Marvel Legends figure is like $25 to $28, I think. So you're talking about $12 to $15 for some web effects. I know that some figures come with more stuff, some figures come with less stuff. I mean, you get Marvel Legends that come with like 0 accessories for $25, and you get Marvel Legends figures that come with an alternate head, alternate set of hands, and a weapon, and they're $25 too. So I don't know. I mean, however they sort of price that out will be I'm sure it'll be a talking point, and I'm sure I'll talk about it when it gets announced. But as of right now, I do not know how much that Spider-Man figure is. But at the same time, I don't need that Spider-Man figure, so I kind of don't care. I bought the Renew Your Vows Spider-Man. I think that was the one. Renew Your Vows, and then the first appearance Spider-Man, and both of those are great. in terms of design, in terms of deco, in terms of like what they came with. I also have some like third party web effects that look phenomenal. Shout out to the person that gave them to me, and I'm drawing a complete blank. I'm so sorry. He hooked us up when we were at I think it was Joe Fest last year. He was just walking around. He had a backpack full of them, and he gave them to us at the AWOC table. And I'm drawing a total blank on his name. So I feel like a jerk. I'd have to look it up. I'm sorry, but you know, I have other web effects from like other Spider-Man figures. I don't know. I don't. $40. I'm still like, yeah, it's a bit expensive, but I could see it being $40. Like I said, if it's more than $40, that would be outrageous in my head. But that's just me personally. I also buy Super 7 Ultimates, so you know you're kind of getting, you know, parts count wise what you get with the Ultimates figure. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just being hypocritical, but I also know of some very cool upcoming toy lines, and $40 as a price point. You know, knowing what you're gonna get in that line, I mean, I don't know. But yeah, this guy cutter looks very cool. What I'm still not sure about is whether or not whether or not we're gonna get that slight re-release. The weirdest thing is that up on Big Bad Toy Store, they now have listed, and actually, you know what, I'll pull it up so that I can show you what I'm talking about, because I've never seen this listed like this before. So last week there was a post about Super 7 Ultimates ThunderCats that said that Lion-O, you know, the version where it looked like, you know, version 1 of Lion-O, Wily Cat, and Slythe were all getting re-released at, you know, normal retail price. And then they weren't. They disappeared from Big Bad Toy Store. There was no more news. Super 7 has been radio silent about it. But Big Bad Toy Store now has Wily Kit and Wily Cat listed as coming soon. I don't think I've ever seen Big Bad Toy Store list figures as coming soon. So there's something weird going on here. I don't know what. I don't know, like are they just trying to sort of get ahead of this a little bit? I do know that Brian Flynn was on I want to say it's called We Want More ThunderCats. Can't remember what the show is called, but he's on YouTube and he's on Instagram and social media, all that kind of stuff. And Brian Flynn did in an interview say that Wily Kit and Wily Cat were coming back. So that's sort of officially been sort of, I would consider Brian Flynn saying it on a YouTube channel, officially saying it. He's officially said those two are coming back. He didn't say anything about Lion-O. He didn't say anything about Slythe. So I don't know. Maybe this is them sort of, you know, trying to navigate, like, well, somebody posted it and now they're not up. And it's kind of like, okay, so will they, won't they, when will it be? So I'm very, very curious. Like I said, I need Slythe. I have the twins, but I still need Slythe. So, yeah, that's that. Very, very curious. Very, very curious indeed. All right, let's see what else we've got. Brick said, I'm not in the market for a Legend Spider-Man, but from a state of the hobby / industry perspective, I care. It's going to be wild to see the fallout or surprise positivity from the price point. Yes, I'm very curious as well. I think personally this is a little bit of Hasbro trying to test the waters of price points. I think the fact that they announced it but didn't announce the price, I think they might have a price range. And I think they're listening. They're listening not to me, but to some of the bigger channels. They're reading the comments on Facebook and Instagram, maybe Blue Sky, I don't know. Maybe Hoarder, maybe wherever, wherever, where people are talking about the price point. And I'm curious. I would say by and large, what I've heard and what I've heard other people saying is more or less in line with what I feel as well, that $40 would make sense, and that anything under that would be cool, and anything over that would be less cool. I've heard people say that I'm a voracious Marvel Legends collector, and Spider-Man's my favorite character, and if it's $60, I'm going to buy it. I'll just be upset that I spent $60 on it. So I don't know, where will it fall in that respect? I don't know, but I do think it's, things are changing, and the market is changing, and there's a shift. I truly believe there's a shift to a lot more like third party and independent companies and things like that. And I think Marvel is there's only so many dollars that every collector has. So I think if Marvel is getting less dollars, they might be looking at like, okay, how do we make more per figure, or do we, go by our old model of everybody's going to buy, like it's changed for them as well as everybody else. So I don't know. I mean, I don't have I don't have any insight into to Hasbro. I know a bit of stuff, what's going on with GI Joe stuff, but just using GI Joe as an example, I think when the Vamp was announced that it was going to be retail, and everybody's like, oh, it's going to be $150 to $200, and then it was like $100. I think people were quite shocked. So I think it might be like, okay, it's Spider-Man, right? We're going to sell a lot of units because it's Spider-Man. Does it need to be really expensive, or are we going to price it based on how many units we're going to sell? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Brick said, just stopped by the Super 7 store today again. No word on those ThunderCats re-releases, but I grabbed my Ultimates RZA as Bobby Digital. I know you've been trying to get that. I'm very, very happy for you. You've also picked up ThunderCat stuff for me at the Super 7 store, so I'm a little bit jealous that you get to pop in there every once in a while. But yeah. Gabrielle says, my Scythe pre-order hasn't been canceled yet. But that page is still gone when I try to click on it. My only hope is that this has happened before with other POs from other lines. I think it has. I do think there is a precedence. I think our guests are here, so I'm going to have to try to wrap this up. So I think there's precedence here as far as like things going up for pre-order too early, or things being announced too early. So I'm crossing my fingers too that Scythe was just announced too early, and that we're going to get it, because I am not paying the aftermarket for Scythe. If they do a cartoon or a toy accurate version, that would be another way for me to go. If they did a deluxe version of Scythe, I'd be happy with that. I could just pick that up. But yeah, he's definitely a character that I missed and want. So Dan, you'd posted on Twitter the announcing that the pre-order was coming, still didn't announce a price. There were silly reactions to that, but I get that people are taken aback by their silence on the price. Yeah, I mean, the silence on the price, I don't know. I mean, does it tell us that they're trying to figure it out? Does it tell us that they don't feel confident about the price? I don't know. Are we reading too much into this? Probably. We'll see. The price point will go up, and then we'll discuss it more. Ray Pat says, I think it will help them sell more when the price is a lot lower than people have been anticipating. That's part of it too. If people are saying it's going to be $50 and then it's 37 or whatever, I think that's a win for them in terms of the optics of it. So John says, where them zombies at? All right. Okay. You guys want to see some zombie stuff? I've only got 2 slides for you. I got 2 slides. I will share these, but there's only 2, and I'll just show them to you, and then we're going to wrap things up. I said we were going to go for about an hour. We will be a little under an hour, but I've got a behind the scenes of the Paint Masters in process, And then I have Tuesday's reveal that I'm going to show you guys early. All right, so should we take a look here? So for anybody that doesn't know, the Space Zombies from Mars prototypes are being painted by none other than Jason Bienvenu of Spiro fame, which is why there is an Oni behind the astronaut. So that is the blue astronaut. That is, of course, the science astronaut suit. Unfinished. You can see the backpack there doesn't have, all the paint apps and all the deco on it. There's going to be more paint apps on the chest piece there as well for the blue astronaut. You can see on the retro red astronaut that the harness thing, has some different colors and has a little bit more going on there. That second torso, that second red torso is the zombie. So it doesn't have any limbs because he was painting those separately. You can see in the foreground there, I think that's the arms for the zombie version of the red suit. So yeah, that is the sort of in production shot. Now we have been revealing the figures as we go. We started with the green astronaut, the military faction, and then we showed the science astronaut, which is the blue one. We showed the retro ones, which is the red guy. We showed the white suit, which is the medical suit. The last suit, the last color of suit, and sort of the last figures for sort of render reveals, and these will be stretch goal figures, will be the engineering faction, and they will be in orange. So I know people have asked about orange astronaut suits. John, I think you and Josh were saying that, like, orange should be in the lineup. Orange is in the lineup. So there you go. Georgia McBride, the second female astronaut. We have 4 astronauts. 2 of them are men and 2 of them are women. So I think there's a good balance there. The heads will of course be swappable, so if you are inclined to have 4 men, great. If you're so inclined to have 4 women, you can also do that. We will have a bunch of extra heads. You can see right there in the pack in that there's already an extra head in there. I think there might be one more male head than female, but there's still going to be plenty of options. So there you go. And John says, no way, Jason is painting these. Yes, he is, absolutely. Actually, Arlen is painting the heads and Jason is painting the suits. Collecting Brothers kid, I'm glad you like it. Gabrielle, you as well. Orange is perfect, and a uke, absolutely. That is a tiny 1/12 scale, 6-inch scale ukulele, indeed. More on that with when we get more lore. Yeah, there you go. That is a little sneak peek, just a little sneak peek. Like I said, this will be the reveal for Tuesday over on the Instagram page as well. So make sure you go over there and give it the little heart. Go and like it, comment, let us know what you think of the different suits, of the different colors. Yeah, so that's that. Now the last thing that I'm going to show is this, because this is why the show is short today. Super Bowl is on in about a half an hour. So that is what I'm going to be doing this evening. So there you go. If you're so inclined, you can go and order Barbies with Eagles or Kansas City Chiefs sweatshirts. You could buy Uno cards. You could buy Little People. So yeah, I don't know why you would want any of this stuff, but when I was looking at that Panther, this is sort of the front page for Mattel Creations. So I just thought that was kind of funny. Yuke, she dies first. I hope not. I hope not. Is this one of the 11? Yes, this is one of the 11. But so when we launch on March 1st, you will have seen all of the figures already. We will have revealed all 11 of the figures in the full 11. That being said, and we'll have way more clarification on all of this sooner rather than later. But that being said, everything will be available individually. The green astronaut and zombie, the blue astronaut and zombie, and then a Kickstarter exclusive will be available at launch of the Kickstarter, and then the rest will be stretch goals. The I think really great thing about our stretch goals is that they are really close together. Once we fund, I think the next stretch goal is about $5,000 above our funding goal, and every stretch goal after that is about $5,000 above the last stretch goal. So to get, all of our stretch goals is really a difference of, I think, 35,000 over the stretch goal. So we don't have like, okay, once we fund, that's great, and then we got to double for you to get, the next figure. It's we want to do all of it, and the only problem is, every time you introduce, a couple new heads and a couple new accessories, you need to pay for another mold, another mold, another molding plate. So there's just money involved in more stuff. So to give you more stuff, we need more money. That is just super simple economics. And we are going to be super transparent about that. We're going to talk about, what our funding goal is and what it isn't, and what we're paying for with the Kickstarter, and all that kind of stuff. So we're very, very excited to be talking about that stuff more very, very soon. We have at least 3 videos that I know of. A couple where we're going to guest on people's channels and talk about the line. I'm definitely going to do a video before we launch, where I'm going to talk about all the details and make it super simple and straightforward. The goal is like, legitimately, the goal is for when the Kickstarter opens up, that everything that you're going to need to know, and that you could just get in there, get your pledge in, and sit back and relax and watch the numbers go up, and then fund super early. Because full disclosure, I'm also going to be away. I'm going to be out of town for the last week of the campaign. So I'm really, really hoping that I'm not, out of town stressing about, the numbers, but we'll see. JG says you only get the Barbie of the winning team, so choose wisely. Did they say that? I tried to figure out if you order the Kansas City Chiefs one, are you going to be disappointed tonight when your figure doesn't get made? I don't know. Or will they make it anyway? Will you get a thing that says Super Bowl champion if they're not Super Bowl champions? I don't know. Let's see. This funding on the first day. I hope so. We put the goal as low as we possibly could, and we made the stretch goals as tight together as we possibly could. So I'm really hoping that is the case. Or even if we get most of the way, I don't know. Anyways, Game Quest says thank you for the reveals. You're welcome. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for hanging out. Good to have you too, Allison. But yeah, it's going to be a pretty hectic next couple of weeks. It's going to be pretty busy next couple of weeks, and then the Kickstarter launches, and then it's going to be a very stressful 4 weeks. So stay tuned for more. Like I said, we're going to talk way more zombies as we get closer to the date. And we've still got a couple more things to reveal. We've got that orange astronaut. We have the orange zombie that will go with that, which is a no-brainer if you've been sort of following the reveals. And then we've got one more figure to reveal, which is the Kickstarter exclusive figure. And then there's actually one more reveal after that. We've sort of held one thing pretty close to our chests, that we haven't shown any renders. We haven't shown any pictures. We haven't shown anything. Is going to be the last stretch goal. It's going to be sort of the last thing that we reveal. We're going to reveal it on February 28th. So I hope you guys, like that as well. Yeah, stay tuned for more. Till next time, I suppose. Bye-bye.